All right, I think we're gonna try and see if we actually have audio this time. Is anybody out there? Hi, everybody. We're gonna try again and see if we have audio. Do we have audio this time? Kim Kraus says there's sound. Hi again, Kate. Let's see. Everybody else, can anybody else hear me now? Is the sound coming through okay? Great. We should just pretend all of what I said that first 7 minutes was just brilliant, and we'll just kind of move to the second half of it. No, Isaac says we're good. Okay. All right. So it sounds like we do have audio and sound now. So we'll go ahead and get started, I guess. Thanks. Sorry, the messages are scrolling and I didn't see them. And so there we are. I thought we got it. So, all right. Good to see you guys. All right. Well, let's start over then. So when I was thinking about the devotion for today, I was thinking about uh, what is it, God, that you would want to share? And one of the things that he's kind of been, he's been putting on my heart is just purpose in life. And what is the purpose of life? And Kate and I were joking yesterday, I think, about the number 42, which I think is an old Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference, if you know that. But I think that's the question to the meaning of life. And so our purpose in life, for me, I've always been drawn to how the Westminster Shorter Catechism asks and answers this question, and says this. It says, what is the chief end of man? In other words, what are we all to do? What's our end goal? And the answer is the chief end of man is to glorify God and to enjoy him forever. And when we're here at Cascade, when we talk about L3, and for us that means to love God, to love people, and to live generously, this idea of purpose and this idea of glorifying and enjoying God really speaks to how we love God and how we are loved by God. And so the Bible talks about how we are to give glory to God in all that we do. In 1 Corinthians 10, Paul talks about basically whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. And I think for us, it's a little easier sometimes to get this, like, my life and my actions should be glorifying to God. But it's sometimes harder for us to get this, like, enjoyment of God. Is that really what my heart longs for? Is that really what I'm seeing and experiencing in my life? Am I enjoying God? And so maybe as you're sitting there today, be asking yourself, do you feel like you enjoy God? What does that look like for you? Psalm 37:4 says this, delight yourself in the Lord. Do you delight in the Lord? Do you take great joy in the Lord? Psalm 27 verse 8 is this cool phrasing that says this, you have said, seek my face. That's God saying, you are to seek my face. And the psalmist's response is this, my heart says, your face, Lord, I will seek. And we actually put that on the wall in the baby's room, just as our prayer is that as she grows up, she would seek God's face in all of what she does. And Psalm 73 verses 24 through 26 says, whom am I in heaven but you? And there is nothing on earth that I desire besides you. My flesh and my heart fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. I think often we get so busy in life that we get so focused on the tasks of life, the things that we need to do, the jobs that need to get done, the cooking that needs to get done, the cleaning that needs to get done, the homeschooling that needs to get done, whatever it might be, that sometimes we fail to just enjoy being in the presence of God and to seeing how he is working around us. Glorifying God means that all that we do points back to him and celebrates his character and love and nature. And enjoying him is to be in relationship with him, where our eyes are open to seeing all that he's doing in the world and in our lives, and that our hearts are open to listening to hear his voice and following where he's leading and hearing his love for us and his prompting for us. And sometimes we're just so busy that it's hard to delight in the Lord. And so, if part of our purpose is to enjoy God, how are we focusing our lives so that we actually get to do that? And I think it takes some intention. And I'm just going to double check before I go any further. Can you guys still hear me? The last message I had was a little bit ago. So somebody tell me you could still hear me. Is anyone out there? I'm going to break into show tunes if nobody can respond. I will do it. I don't know. It looks like we might not. Is anybody there? I may not be seeing the post, so I'm going to keep going, I guess, and assume that you guys could still see. All right. Yes. Okay, there we go. So for us, what are some ways that we can learn to enjoy God and understand what it means to really see the end of our life, to glorify him and enjoy him? And again, I think part of that looks at having our eyes open to seeing what God is doing around us and seeing that God is always at work. This last week, I was listening and read the book, The Grand Weaver by Ravi Zacharias. And in it, he's talking about how God is working through all different points of our lives. And he's seeing all these connections that sometimes we don't get to see till much further down the line, of how God was preparing us for something in the future, or using something that happened in the past for his glory and his good, and being able to enjoy that. And I love Julie's comment. We can confirm you are still audible. That's great. And so in The Grand Reaver, Ravi shares this story. He tells the story of a guy who was on a boat back in the middle of World War II in the Pacific, and the boat is hit, and he's on one of those big 1-inch guns, and it explodes, and it sends him into the water. Well, he somehow is able to grab a single life belt that inflates with the pull of kind of a trigger, right? And so he's holding onto this life belt, and he's floating in the water for hours and hours and hours. And so eventually, as he's floating in the water, he's looking at this life belt, and he's kind of memorizing every part about it. And on it, it says, okay, manufactured by Firestone Tire and Rubber Company of Akron, Ohio. And it had a registration number on it. Well, ultimately, he is rescued. And after this, he's given leave to go home. And so he goes home, and he's talking with his mother. And his mother's asking him about his experience. And he says, well, Mom, you work for Firestone, right? And she says, yeah. He said, so what is the purpose of the number that was on this life belt that I had? And she said, well, the company insisted that everybody personally take responsibility for everything that they made. And so if you inspected something, you had to put your personal registration number on that piece. And so thinking about it, he told her what the registration number was on that life belt. And then all of a sudden there's just a pause, and his mom's face turns to just kind of a stunned look. And she says, that was my personal code that I put on every piece that I was personally responsible for. And Robbie just is marveling at how here we have this guy in the middle of the Pacific. He's rescued by this life belt that his mom back in Akron, Ohio, had manufactured and personally approved. And he's saying, look, if these things happen, we know and we see God working all over our lives. And sometimes for us to be able to enjoy him and glorify him, we need to be able to open our eyes and see all of that he is at work doing, so that we can honor and praise and glorify him and enjoy the beauty of what he does, because he is so magnificent and works so many things for good. I think about our purpose in life and how we glorify God and enjoy him, and what we want to have been said about us at the end of our life. And I love this quote from C.T. Studd, and so I think I'll just end with this, because it speaks to what I hope my life looks like at the end. It says, let us not glide through this world and then slip quietly into heaven without having blown the trumpet loud and long for our Redeemer, Jesus Christ. Let us see to it that the devil will hold a thanksgiving service in hell when he gets the news of our departure from the field of battle. Our job as Christians is to glorify God and to enjoy him. And we need to give our all to that effort. And so I don't know where you're at and what you might be going through right now, or what God might be speaking to you at. Maybe for you, it means that you just need to pause and learn how to be intentional about enjoying time in God's presence. And I would encourage you to do that this week. Maybe for you, you do need to focus your life so that it is intentionally glorifying God in all that you do, so that the devil will be excited when you are no longer walking on the earth, because you lived in such a way that God was able to be seen in you and all that you did. I hope those are a few things that can encourage you. They're kind of sporadic things that have helped me in my life. And I want to invite you personally to enjoy coming together tonight as a church. If you're able to, join us at 6 or 7:15 for a night of prayer and worship. Really, it was an amazing time to be together. Yeah, we still have the requirements that we need to follow, but let me tell you, you can worship God through a mask and while social distancing, and it was amazing, and I can't wait to be together again tonight. If you can, register online. If not, just show up. We'd love for you to be there. 6 and 7:15. Dan Bushy is on deck for the devotion on Thursday, and I encourage you to watch that and check that out. And then this Sunday, be sure to check out the Sunday service. Not only is Michael speaking, but Scott Anderson and the worship team have prepared something really special that they're going to share with us as well. Another great video on Sunday. So we look forward to seeing you there, and can't wait to see everybody back on July 5th. Thanks, and have a great day. Thanks for bearing with me with the sound and everything.